Hi everyone. Our problem statement is a phishing website detection and recognition system. Phishing is one of the most common cyber attacks that tricks users into sharing sensitive information. So we have developed this project using the using Visual Studio tool, and the tech stack we have used is for front end we have used HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and for back end we have used Flask, which is a Python, and the for classification purpose we have used ML model called Deep Belief Network, which is DBN plus SVM classifier, and this is the index page. This is the index page, which launches our page, and here we have defined one text field and button. When the user enters the URL, then we will be redirecting. When user enters the URL and click on the submit, we'll be redirecting to our ML model for classification purpose, and we'll be displaying whether it is a phishing or good URL. And when we click on the submit, and this your will send the URL to the backend. In backend, this code will get executed. Here we'll be extracting the futures of our URL through future extraction. This is the future extraction code. Here we have defined few futures like get domain, having IP, have @sign, get length, etc. For example, if the URL having any special size, then we are classify that URL like phishing URL, else it is a good URL. Good stands for 0 and phishing is 1. And if the length is less than 54, then it is a good URL. Else it is a phishing URL. Like that, we have defined few features like redirection. If URL contains any redirection, then it is a phishing URL. Else it is a good URL. And a domain, if it has a domain, then it is a good. Else it is a phishing URL. Like this, we have defined few features for a future extraction. After extracting the futures, we'll be calling the DBN, which is our ML model for classification and prediction purposes. And this is DBN. We have written code in dbn.py file. And here, firstly, we'll read the dataset. Datasets. We have collected datasets of phishing and good URLs, and we have from Google and Fish Tank website. And here we are reading the data set, and we selected the 15 URL futures, and we split into training 80% and test 20% sets. And we have defined the RBM model. RBM is an unsupervised neural network that learns hidden features. And we define the RBM class. Here, where our model gets trained and learned, and deep, and also a stack of RBMs it's defined as an DBM. Here DBN class we stack it with three RBMs. Like one output of the RBM1 becomes the input of the RBM2, and output of the RBM2 becomes the input of the RBM3, and the final is the result is the final result of the DBN, which is a stack of three RBMs. And we'll be training this after training DBM, we'll be passing training data through it to get the new future representation. And these futures are more informative and lower dimensional than raw data set. And for classification purpose, we have used SVM, and the SVM classifies whether it is a phishing or good URL. And for testing our evaluation, we pass the test data through DBM to get the transformed futures and predict using trained SVM, and we will be evaluating using F1 score and accuracy. Finally, we are printing the reconstruction errors and prediction results on the test data and final accuracy and F1 score. Let me run my model. I have run the Python output.py. so that it gets URL. And here you'll be seeing this reconstruction error gets printed in console. Means here every time you see the reconstruction error, it is getting reduced for every reconstruction. Means it is reconstructing many times, which is it is a stack of RBMs. DBN is mainly a stack of RBM. RBM is an unsupervised machine learning model. And it run, and this is the page. Screen got struck. This is the page. Here user will be entering the URL and it tells whether it is a fake URL or good URL. For example, let me enter youtube.com. Tells it is a good URL and it redirects to the YouTube when we click on the visit website. If it is a fake URL, then phishing pop-up it will be coming. This is the fake URL. It alerts with a phishing alert and we can report this URL. When we click on the report, this report page from the Google, it gets entered and here we can phishing. Here we can report. This is our project. Hope you liked it. Thank you.